if I had been doing it for the money and was a grifter, and I remember this moment when I became aware that my thoughts and opinions were different than most of my peers, and I was like, oh,
it's scary,
I need to make
right?
a choice.
Yeah.
I either need to just be honest, or I'm smart enough to be able to just parrot the talking points and be like, derp-a-dur, like, Trump is Hitler, burp-a-burr. And
that's hilarious when they say that over and over.
A billion retweets. That would be grifting for me. That would be a grift.
This is the Rubin Report, and according to the Deep State, I'm Dave Rubin. Quick reminder, guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel, which gives you just a teeny tiny chance of actually seeing our videos. All right then, joining me today is a writer, a comedian, and host of The Dumpster Fire, right here on YouTube, Bridget Phetasy.
Hi.
Welcome back to the Rubin Report.
I'm back.
All right, lady, you're back.
We're both still here.
Last time I had you on here, you were at the beginnings of your political evolution. You were saying, I don't know what's going on with this world. You were trying to make some sense of the world.
I still have no idea.
Well, a year later, or whatever it's been, barely a year.
Barely a year.
Barely a year. You're
Almost
one of, you're on the short list of people that make some sense to me. So what does that say about me?
That's terrifying. People say this to me, and I'm like, you know that the world has gone crazy if somehow I'm a voice of reason. And I get a lot of, so I guess what's happened is, it's true, it has been kind of an exponential, I guess, just from like a statistical point of view and numbers point of view on something like Twitter, it has been exponential rise or growth.
Yeah.
And with that comes a lot of criticism and different opinions.
You get criticism and people saying mean things to you on social media?
I know, it's strange. I know that this doesn't affect other people, but it really seems to affect me particularly. No, but I feel like the criticism I get all the time is I'm a grifter. Mm-hmm. You know, like I was one way and then now I'm another way, grifting. But they're like, eventually you're going to need to knock off this both sides routine of yours because you're always trying to just, I'm like, I'm just being me though. I'm really just confused.
Yeah. Do you think that that's sort of what's working for you more than anything else? Like there's there's just an upfrontness about your evolution. Like for me, something like 5 years ago, I just started saying, guys, I'm a liberal, but something ain't right around here. And then it was just people started going, oh, me too. And I sense you're sort of like just constantly in that
I was
thing.
one of those people though. That was like, oh,
hey,
Dave.
my pleasure.
Thank you. But I think the difference between us is that you were already kind of in the political world.
Yeah.
And what was your degree in?
Political science.
Okay, so
I'm one of 3 people that ever used a political science degree for
you
politics.
Went to college. I dropped out. So
I was smoking a lot of pot.
But I was blacked out and smoking a lot of pot and waitressing. And I say this to people a lot that I talked about the factory settings and how I think when you have your head down, and I didn't know until maybe last February how I was going to pay more than 2 months worth of bills ever since when I was 17. So when you have your head down just trying to figure that stuff out, you're not really paying attention to anything else.
Yeah.
I was just trying to make money and wait tables, and I moved to LA so that I could be a content creator. I wanted to write television shows and do comedy, and I was not aware there was a culture war going on, which sounds completely naive of me. And Michael Malice has said to me, that just goes to show you how entrenched the cathedral is in terms of media and entertainment and academia, is that I didn't even know I was in the cathedral.
Right. Do you sense that getting the criticism of grifter, or somehow you're doing this for money, even though, as you said, it's just literally a year and a half ago where you're like, scrounging around and all that. And also, it's also funny because people think just because like we're on YouTube and we have a little powder on our faces that we're like rolling in dough. And it's like, I'm not complaining by any stretch. And it was a long time to get here. You know what I mean? And I'm just somewhere on my journey as you are.
Yeah.
But I find that this thing of like, because a lot of people in our space now get thrown with grifter, or you're doing it for the money, or you're a seller or something like that. And in a weird way, while that used to bother me, now it's becoming, in some ways, it's the ultimate compliment, because it's almost like they have nothing left.
Right.
Like there's nothing left about the ideas that you put forth or the positions that you hold, because you actually hold a mixed bag of sort of left-right positions, which I think most people do.
Yeah.
So all they got is, she's doing it for the money.
She's doing it for the money.
As if you were like, oh, if I just stuck out that position over there, that's where the money rolls in.
If I had been doing it for the money and was a grifter, and I remember this moment when I became aware that my thoughts and opinions were different than most of my peers, and I was like, oh,
it's scary,
I need to make
right?
a choice.
Yeah.
I either need to just be honest, or I'm smart enough to be able to just parrot the talking points and be like, derp-a-dur, like Trump is Hitler, burr-a-burr, and
that's hilarious when they say that over and over.
A billion retweets, just that would be grifting for me. That would be a grift, because my idea of a grift is that I'm being disingenuous, I'm being dishonest, I'm saying that I have one thing and I'm selling another, but if I'm selling anything, it's my confusion.
Right. Well, also, wouldn't a grift also be that you would take the easier way out? Like it would, clearly, I think
it's not easy.
I think the people that are in the space that we're in, whatever you want to call that, this is the road less traveled, right? But if you're on the grift, you don't do the hard thing, you do the easy thing.
Yeah, it would be easy for me to go in either direction all in. And it would also be easy for me to completely just defect and be like, I'm MAGA now,
Right.
And I've always joked that there are these two strains of Trump derangement syndrome. And I can pretty quickly tell if somebody has one or the other. It's if everything is Trump's fault or Trump can do no wrong. And it's MAGA and resistance. It's like the hashtags. And I feel like most people exist in the gray area in between, but they get so bombarded by both sides if they dare to be like, well, I think there might be, I can see this from both sides, or there might be a perspective here, that they just are like, nah, I'm not, I'm just going to be quiet.
So speaking of that, it's a good reason to have you on now, because I know you're an expert in foreign policy, especially related to Iran, right?
Yeah.
That's your specific expertise?
Specifically what I'm here for.
No, that obviously is not true, but actually, often in the morning when I wake up and I have my coffee and I'm just sort of slowly getting online and I'm trying to get my thoughts centered, I'll shoot you some texts and we'll go back and forth a little bit. And one of the things over the last couple of weeks that consistently comes up is the craziness related to every single person on Twitter, but I don't want to make this just about Twitter, but the need for all the celebrities, all of the journalists, quote, air quote journalists, and just everybody to have a opinion on everything at all times. Remember, just a couple weeks ago, we were in World War III.
We were.
How'd that go? How'd World War III go for you, by the way?
It went well. I walked my dog. That's the crazy thing. And we kind of talked about this on Dumpster Fire, my YouTube show, which just makes fun of my whole thing with Dumpster Fire is we just want to laugh while the world burns. Because in the moment when news is breaking and it is diplomacy by Twitter now. So there is serious, there's news breaking, the president's tweeting a flag, then the ambassador to the supreme leader is tweeting their flag. These are... my roommate Samantha said it perfectly. She said it's Ender's Game meets Risk on Twitter. It's the perfect description.
Yeah.
And I think that there is this real, people are getting hurt, people are affected by this, it's all playing out virtually. And then you close your computer or put your phone down and walk outside and it's do.
Right.
Nothing's going on. And the majority of people have no idea. They're not living in that. But if you're in that moment in the news cycle as it's all breaking and everybody's got their takes and the journalists are all trying to figure it out and they're waiting for the Pentagon to confirm things so that they can confirm the rumors they heard, you get that kind of rush.
What do you make of these people that literally something happens now and then they have the exact opposite reaction because it was another administration 5 years ago? I'm not talking about somebody that's evolved over time with their political ideas.
Right.
I'm talking about, Trump didn't have congressional authorization. And then there's literally 5 years ago their tweet when they were completely for Libya. Nancy Pelosi is a great example. Trump didn't need and I don't even mean just the people in politics.
Yeah.
But there's a video right now that's been going around that I've shared of Pelosi 5 years ago or whatever it is, 6 years ago, saying Obama didn't need congressional authorization. We toppled the Libyan regime and Gaddafi. Now he needs it. But then everyone just flips on every little thing because it's all sports. If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about comedy instead of the nonstop yelling you get everywhere else, check out our comedy playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, check out our full episode playlist. They're both right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.